And vulnerable.
Simon O'Connor.
Oh, Mr. Speaker. Look, delightful to stand up. I'm in jolly good mood now after my colleague Chris Ockenball described me as youthful. Ockie, people haven't described me as that for quite a while. Mr. Speaker, and that's right, my colleague Nick Smith raises a very good question. Am I actually going to be covered by this bill? As a youthful 36-year-old, will this bill actually cover me in my rights, or is this going to be an age discrimination, as we heard in our select committee today? Mr. Speaker, can I begin by acknowledging the sponsor of the bill? As someone who's also put their first member's bill before Parliament, always quite the experience. Unfortunately, in this case, the bill is deeply flawed. It begins with the very basic principle: you never argue from exceptions. And we've heard from everyone in the opposition of a whole series of very bizarre exceptions that might have turned up in Fair Go, that they might have seen in Mary Poppins, that they might have heard on the street, that they think came from the Victorian area, that somehow justifies this bill. You never, Mr. Speaker, argue from exceptions. We then went on to hear from sort of this rambling rhetoric that somehow this is a discrimination, this is exploitation, again it's Victorian. The thing about rhetoric is that when the learned mind steps back for a second and thinks about it, it doesn't really stack up. But they were so desperate too, Mr. Speaker, that the next step was to start saying that, you know what, actually this is like the white paper for vulnerable children. This is about Pike River, someone mentioned. You're going, what is the employment law for 16-year-olds and younger got to do with any of those things? It smacks of desperation. And you see, Mr. Speaker, it doesn't take much to work out the absurdity of where this is going. The absurdity. What we're talking about here is young people under 16 going to school and doing those odd jobs, which most of us in this House would have done, and given us all the characters that we have today. Not the characters of Charles Dickens. I realise, Mr. Little, you left out William Micawber, fine character. The Labour Party could learn from the wisdom of Micawber. Mr. Speaker, the absurdity of this bill is that we are talking about young people. These are the young people who deliver papers, they deliver pamphlets, they mow the lawns like my Thames colleague Scott Simpson, they do babysitting, they mow lawns, they do cleaning, and even, I might suggest, they might play music. In fact, some of us were very pleased to be in the banquet hall earlier as we had the Play It Strange, sponsored by my colleague Chris Tremaine. Young people with amazing talent, but under this piece of legislation, before they could even turn up to a bar anywhere, cafe, to play some music, they're going to have to go into full employment negotiations. They're now going to have to worry about sick leave, they're going to have to worry about holiday leave, their employers are going to have to do ACC levies. All of this, Mr. Speaker, to deliver some music, to deliver a paper or a pamphlet. And these are young people, Mr. Speaker, already in school, already on holiday. So let's just step back for a second. How does it look for a 14-year-old mowing the lawns, playing some music in a cafe, delivering pamphlets, to have holiday pay? How does that look? Are we now going to send them on the school holidays and expect them to be paid as well? It's absolutely ridiculous, and the word that I would use for this, Mr. Speaker, is absurd. And really, the flaw in this bill is actually right in the heart of it. The very fact, Mr. Speaker, that we have to even discuss a bill like this points to the very nature of the work itself. We are trying to protect young people around an array of work which is so simple. It's so simple. The fact we don't need to protect it is for the very reason that at the heart of this bill are young people who do those simple, basic jobs. Are we actually expecting that we're going to start paying a paper delivery boy or girl $13.50 an hour, and levies, and holiday pay, and sick pay? Are we really expecting it? Are we really wanting to stop the creativity of our young people to play their music, to mow those lawns, to develop that experience? Mr. Speaker, I acknowledge the intent of the honourable gentleman who's put this forward, but this bill is seriously flawed. The National Party stands in support of its young people. It stands in support of that entrepreneurial spirit. It stands in support of what I suspect, Mr. Speaker, is the experience that each and every one of us have had, which is young people growing up, earning a few dollars and having that chance to become the adults that we wish to be today.
In reply, Rino Turikatni.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker.